Hello, everybody. I'm going to call the meeting to order at 10:30 and say welcome, December 18th, 2025, WAMSCO's annual meeting. We're going to do a quick attendance here. I am Shanda, president of WAMSCO.
Libby Stein, Watershed Conservation Coordinator.
Jessica Meyer, Treasurer, WAMSCO.
Jacob Bittner, Sean County.
Alexis Draco, WAMSCO's outreach coordinator. Carla Osborne from Storm.
Rick Moses.
Gary Token, Director.
Jeremy Johnson, Menominee County Conservation and Legend Lake Protection and Rehab District.
Corey Halstead, Administrator and Aquatic Invasive Species Coordinator.
Perfect. Well, I just want to say welcome to everybody. If there are any questions or anything, we are watching online. Otherwise, this one is going to be kind of a quicker annual meeting. We don't really have any other presenters, but the staff are going to present on what WAMSCO has been up to this past year, what our future plans are. And I do want to state right away that going forward, rather than trying to figure out when we're going to have this meeting and get everything out to you, you can plan on it for the second Saturday after Memorial Day weekend going forward. So the second Saturday following Memorial Day weekend will be our annual membership meeting always. And we also want to, during those meetings, recognize all of our volunteers. And we'll be getting a hold of you guys for that. And if you want to nominate anybody that's excellent in doing conservation practices on your lake or your area, please let us know. We'd like to recognize folks. With that, I'm going to give it to the staff to take it away and do a great presentation. Oh, real quick first, we have Jessica for a treasurer's report.
Sounds good. I'm Jessica Meyer. I'm the new treasurer for WAMSCO. Susan Johnson was our former treasurer for a few years, and she has a background in accounting. My background has been in commercial banking. I was a commercial banker for 15 years. And so I did a lot of lending to businesses in Wisconsin and Minnesota. So it was a few different banks. And I do a lot of things since then. I'm a stay-at-home mom right now. I'm a certified culinarian in the American Culinary Federation. So I do a number of things. But WAMSCO's financial story is a story of growth. Growth and good stewardship is what I have here. And looking at our income, and our income grew greatly, over $100,000 from the year before. For 2025, we're at $315,000 in income. Our general donations grew, our donations in kind grew, and our grants, largely, many of them are from the DNR, but not all of them. We have other grants as well. Grew to $212,000. Last year's grants at this time last year were $113,000. So it's been growth over the last number of years. This year is no exception. Expenses, we've done a good job of keeping them in line. And our controlled expenses, our fixed expenses, such as rent for the building and things like that, we've really been good at keeping those in line. And year over year, our expenses do track pretty well. Total expenses for this year to date, 260,000 versus 263,000 last year, which is pretty good. It's our income went up because of additional grants, additional activity, and so our variable expenses no doubt went up as well. But we've been tracking our fixed expenses very well. So growth is the story, and then good stewardship too. The team, Shanda and the staff, has been doing a good job of getting donations for projects. We have a very active community that we serve. We serve the waterways in Shawano and Menominee counties, as you know, and we have member lakes, and we receive a small amount of income from our member lakes, such as Cloverleaf Lake, Legend Lake, Long Lake, Moon Lake, Shawano Lake, Mashawquet, and then individuals as well are members of the WAMSCO Association. But we get most of our income from donations in kind, and of course grants, DNR and other places. So good stewardship of these things. I think, programs that you'll hear about, like the Gibson Island project this last year. We have interested people in our communities that are willing to step up with grants, donations, volunteer efforts. And, it takes a very good, group that we have here at WAMSCO, Shonda and the, staff and everything to coordinate these relationships with the DNR, the Community Foundation, the excavators and everybody that's putting things together. And then, volunteers in the communities too. So I think we have a community that's willing to step up, both with activity and with dollars, to help follow through with the things that WAMSCO is doing. And WAMSCO proves that again and again. And to talk about the Gibson Island project will be some of that. So that was my financial report, the growth and the good stewardship of the funds that we have.
Thank you, Brenda, or thank you, Jessica. I wanted to say Brenda Nordine and Chris Sampson have also joined us for attendance. Sorry, I'm here at once. I would like to say that thank you to all of our members and those that have contributed substantial dollars. And the other thing is to say that we are in need always of unrestricted funding. So donations are extremely important. Grants are reimbursed, so we have to spend that money first. So that's always important to keep us going. And question comment.
I would like to approve the budget or the financial report, because we need to do that once
Yep.
a year.
And do we have a second?
I'll second that.
All in favor?
I
Any opposed? Motion carried. Financial report has been approved for 2025. Thank you, Gary. Staff, if you guys want to take it away now, we look forward to your presentation. It's been a busy year.
I will probably have to stay back here so I can click slides for the recording, but you guys can go up there if you want. You want to stand up?
Go for it.
Or we can stay sitting. Our restoration projects, kind of a quick rundown of what we've done in 2025. So this year, WAMSCO has facilitated 2 major shoreline stabilization and restoration projects. So we did 2 major shoreline stabilizations, totaling about 585 linear feet, which included 75 biobags and over 1,000 native plants integrated above and within the rocks. The project on Shawano Lake also included the removal of a large concrete slab and replaced with natural stone. The cloverleaf riprap was installed, will protect the native isthmus to Gibson Island, and also included emergent plants to create some multi-complex habitat. Go to the next slide. So we also did over 12,000 square feet of native plantings in the area of high erosion concern. There was a project on Moon Lake, which utilized the Healthy Lakes program to create a pollinator-friendly and visual appealing native planting that also provides root-based stabilization to the soil from ice and wave erosion. There were 2 projects on the Red River on private property that was aimed to cover barren soil on a very steep hillside that was a high risk for sediment erosion. Hardy native plants were selected for these areas based off of the soil type that will grow very quickly to cover this ground and protect it while also providing natural habitats. Most of our water bodies and shorelines are under private ownership, and it is really important for the collaboration with private landowners to restore areas of high erosion impact to improve our watershed health. And then we did have our featured project, Gibson Island, which was the very large project. So this was on the Cloverleaf Lakes, and it was a multi-step process that covered multiple needs as well. So there was about 10,000, there was more than 10,000 square feet of restoration area that also utilized over 8,000 native plants that were grown and donated by the local community. Shanda's greenhouse was used to grow a large portion of it, but we also had donation purchases from other people. Plant species were selected to endure the very soft sandy soil in that area, which was a difficult workaround. If you've ever been to Gibson Island, it is very sandy. So getting the plants to work with that is important. So these plants will help stabilize all that sandy soil through fibrous roots and also create vital habitat and many beneficial insects and pollinators, as well as enhance the visual appearance for the site. The rockwork that was installed along the 400-foot isthmus to prevent the erosion from ice shove and absorb wave action. There were tree drops that were also implemented in addition that also absorbs wave energy and provides habitat for many species, such as turtles. We saw some ducks already using it, which is cool. Also provides habitat for young fish. Like I said, there was also emergent plants that were placed within the rockwork and in front of it for additional root stabilization and habitat. In addition to the shoreline stabilization that happened, Gibson Island also added an additional about quarter-mile ADA trail that you can see in the image. So this connects to the trail that was already in existence and goes across the isthmus and up through the island. This path was originally initiated by Pete Jensama, who was an avid outdoorsman, and the remaining portion was actually donated in his honor. So this project was very heavily supported by the local community, the township, and the Gibson Island Stewardship. Throughout the season, we had over 60 volunteers ranging in all ages and over 1,000 volunteer hours, as well as professional machinery work donated and covered by donations. Supplies and cash funds were also donated, and it was all put together to bring this whole design to life. So the involvement of the community really highlights the support of WAMSCO's mission and goals, creating new heights, and strengthens the desires for conservation efforts for all people of all generations.
All right, my turn. So for our AIS and water quality components, our first thing of the year was probably the JNR Exotic Pet Surrender event. So last year we ended up having that in Menominee County. And then this year we had it in Shawano at the Shawano High School. And there seemed to be a lot better turnout in the Shawano location. So we decided to do that again the next year. I think we got about 3 animals turned in. It was a snake, a fish, and I think actually 2 fish. AIS boat launch monitoring, there were 8 that we needed to complete, and we did all 8, and we also took pictures of the signage there, just doing our LMP and grant deliverables with that. Wave and CLMN. Libby, did you want to talk about that a little bit, or if there were any updates on that?
We've had some new volunteers that want to be part of CLM and this year, so they will be trained. We did have one person training that was built on Shawano Lake, and we have one person that will be taking over for Colpack. I think her name was Sarah. Sounds familiar. But there's been some more funding. The funding is continuing for CLM and Wave as well.
I'd like to say that WAVE is the Water Action Volunteers, which is for citizens monitoring streams and rivers in the area, and CLMN is Citizen Lake Monitoring Network, and that is where you do the sucky disc to see, how deep you can actually visualize something. It lets us know, how clear the water is, as well as the temperature and dissolved oxygen. And at times some water chemistry where we take samples and they are sent in. Every lake in Menominee and Shawano counties would be benefited by a CLMN monitor. So if you do not have one on your lake and you are interested, please contact WAMSCO. It is something that we will support you with and train you and help you to get started. It's great data for going forward and to be able to see over time changes, so you can kind of jump in and see, if it's getting better or getting worse, what may be causing that and what can or cannot be done. And the WAVE is also very, very good to see if there's any kind of point source for anything where we can focus efforts on stream bank buffers or something on that order. So we can't do those things without this data. So your citizen volunteer time is actually very much appreciated and used.
Thank you, Shanda. Next we have our Where's WAMSCO scavenger hunt event that we moved from August to the middle of June through the middle of July. Tended to be a better time to do that just because we have so much going on in August. So our Where's WAMSCO scavenger hunt is a scavenger hunt that we have the community get involved with. It is where we hide about 4 treasure boxes across the county in different parks and release clues every week for each location on our social media and our website. And the community has to find these treasure boxes and they get little prizes out of it. They get to learn a little bit about some aquatic invasive species that are in the area. And then if they complete all 4 of them, send pictures to us, we will enter them into a prize drawing and you can win some pretty big prizes. This year we had some gift cards to some various coffee shops and restaurants. We had a blow up kayak and paddle that we gifted. So there's lots of things that you can win to do that. So if you'd like to join next year, keep an eye out for that come June. For purple loosestrife beetle rearing, it was not as an eventful year this year for that, just because there was a tornado that went through where we had our rearing cage and blew it across the parking lot and ripped a hole in it. So a lot of our beetles were scattered that we were raising. These beetles are meant to keep in containment or manage the purple loosestrife invasive plant that tends to take over a lot of wetland areas. So we rear these beetles to help manage that, and they will only eat the purple loosestrife plant.
That little area where they escape though is probably really good.
Yes.
Hopefully, because the wolf bird was just down the road.
Oh, sure.
Yeah. But yes, so we did the best we could with that. We ended up putting out the buckets that had the remaining plants in them, but we ended up putting them over at Navarino as well as in front of Tractor Supply here in Shawano because they had a really big patch of purple loosestrife there, and then a few other places in Menominee County. As for monitoring at White Clay Lake, that is part of the CLMN program, but we do the monitoring for that. So I don't think there's been any major changes with the data that we've gotten from there.
So White Clay Lake is a tributary or a lake that is on the 303D impaired watershed, and it does flow into Shawano Lake through a small creek that is kind of wetlandsy area. Most of the area surrounding White Clay Lake is agriculture with some hardwood forests there and some wetlands. White Clay Lake has historically had some high nutrients as well as algae blooms, but it still remains relatively consistent throughout the years. Should have implemented a graph here, but overall, White Clay Lake has not had any major changes this year, but we did monitor it for nutrients as well as visual and water clarity depth as well. Okay, as for our education, I'll try to go through this pretty quickly. So we presented at the Wisconsin Lakes and Rivers Convention in March, and we talked about our youth and digital education program, talking about how that's really taken off in the past few years. And we also did a lightning talk about our education program at the convention as well. We will be presenting a workshop again at the 2026 Wisconsin Lakes and Rivers Convention. So if you would like to register for that, that will be on Wednesday morning that we will be doing our workshop. And then we did a few different workshops through our community class education grant. One of those was the aquatic plant identification paddle, where we teamed up with the Shawano paddlers and we went out on Loon Lake to kayak and identify some different aquatic plants, both native and invasive. We did a native plant workshop with Justin from Stone Silo in De Pere,
and had him talk about the benefits of native plants. And then we had a soil health workshop for home gardeners where we had Jamie Patton from the NRCS come and talk about the benefits of biochar and the different kinds of organisms and the microbiome of soil and how important it is to have the right stuff in your soil for your garden and all those things. And then our last workshop we had at the end of October was our well water workshop, where we had some people from the DNR and the Shawano-Menominee Health Department come in and talk about well water, what's important about your well water, making sure that it's safe to drink, safe to use. And then we also offered a free screening for nitrates at that workshop. There will be another workshop coming up in the next few months. We're seeing if we can get a grant workshop together for lake groups. So if you're interested in that, I did send out a survey to all the lake groups that I have contacts for. So if you are interested in attending a workshop for applying for grants or potentially becoming a 501c3, if you're not already, please email me and I can send you that survey link. And then for our youth education, we've done a variety of different things with our schools over the spring and summer. We did our water quality sampling, macroinvertebrate sampling. We've done a few different tree plantings, sturgeon tagging. We did an education event for when the kids came and watched the sturgeon getting tagged by the DNR. Our youth education days was aquatic invasive species based. We did an ice safety event, talking about for Lakeland Industries. We did an ice safety presentation, kind of showing them like what you should be doing if you're out on the ice fishing. And then I think, oh, is this you, Leslie? Yeah, okay.
So for some outreach and education, things that we did this year, we did Brunch on the Farm, which is an annual one we do every year. That one was an AIS themed. We did some more farmers markets this year, so we had the chance to expand to more. In the past, we stuck to Shawano. This year, we got to do Shawano, Bondwell, and the College of Menominee Nation, so we're branching out a little bit, getting more outreach and awareness in the community. And we also got into the Smalley Beach Bash, which is an event that is hosted by the Shawano Parks and Rec. And we did some AIS themed activities. And we also got the frog flavor game, which Shanda made for us that we can use at our events now. And the Youth and Lake Day is another annual event that we went to for more AIS education outreach. For capacity building this year, we started with 2 staff members and now we have 3. I was hired on in May. And I'm a part-time basis for our 3rd member. Some of the other things we've gotten to add since I joined was we created a Google business page. So now when people search up WAMSCO on Google, we pop up as a business and they can click to get directions on Google Maps. They can click to our website, call us. We get ratings now. And from the back end, we can see how many people are interacting with our business. We're improving our marketing, creating more of the pamphlets and handouts, things that we can show to people. We also created business cards, which is great. We have business cards that we can give out to people. Online membership payments. So we started doing, we connected our PayPal onto the website. So we can now have people join from our website, which is a big leap. We did checks and cash by mail in the past. So helping to improve that membership and other funding opportunities with donations as well. Newsletter promotion, we did a lot this summer, building up that network of communication with folks in the community. And also hand in hand, building up our volunteer network. So I gave us a page on the Wisconsin volunteer website and also working with United Way in Shawano. We have a page on their website as well to get volunteers involved with us, and it has already proven fruitful. We've had a volunteer event through that. So we're working on building up that community presence. And outreach this year, we've had lots of things going on. We got 2 awards this year. One from the Wisconsin Lakes and Rivers Convention in the spring for public engagement. And that was followed by the one this fall from the North American Lakes Management Society. That was an international award that we got for our community education and outreach efforts. And we were also in the newspaper 5 times this year. And 2 of those times were for the awards. One of them was for promoting Where's WAMSCO, and 2 more of them were for the Gibson Island project. We had an interview with Fox 11. They featured our Gibson Island project and went out to Gibson Island to interview Shanda and had a featured story. And we were also covered by the Y100 radio station with our Gibson Island project.
We've also been in several magazines as well.
Lots of coverage.
All right, so WAMSCO's goals will continue to plan, with the plans to remove concrete seawalls along Shawnee Lake in exchange for suitable habitat, and nutrient capturing and sediment retention riprap installations, while also providing a long-lived, shoreline protection from the ice shove. We have a planned approximately 180 linear feet to be, converted from concrete seawall to riprap in the following year. We also have inland lakes such as Pine Lake, Bass Lake, Loon Lake, some Legend Lakes, chain, which all have tentative projects planned. So these best management plans will be performed through Healthy Lakes programs and aim to convert turf grass into riparian native plantings, which will act as a nutrient capturing, while also creating habitat. So these individual projects, by Healthy Lakes do seem small, but they do play a vital role in providing riparian, habitat and nutrient capturing. So this upcoming year, we also plan to finish the phase 2 of Toledo Falls Pond Shoreline Restoration Project. Previously, the West Shore was stabilized with biobags and a native plants buffer, was installed to combat sediment loss. Stabilizing the East Shore will be the last phase, and will utilize about 130 EnviroLock bags and over 300 native plants. So this project, on Toledo Falls is important to the preservation of cold water, trout stream habitat. And then as WAMSCO's growth continues, we are going to be adding additional focus to the rivers and streams, through some grants. Shawnee and Menominee counties have over 1,500 miles of streams and rivers. About 100 of those miles are considered impaired, and about 800 of them are trout habitat. We will be focusing on creating plans to enhance stream habitat, reduce nutrient and sediment loading, and combat invasive species damage, while also increasing public access water rights. So that will be first step, some fundamental first steps to our stream and river restoration projects for following years. And then our big featured project that we will be doing in 2026 will be a native plant garden that will encompass and restore about 1 acre of high erosion concern area. The main goal is to establish a dense growth of deep-rooted dry prairie plants as a means to combat the flashy flooding that occurs in the area just due to the soil type. So this property is located on Grass Lake Road, which is in the Long Lake watershed. Long Lake is on the 303 impaired water body, is a 303 impaired water body that faces many challenges. So this project will aid in the reduction of nutrient loading and increase the rainfall infiltration in the watershed. This garden will also provide many other functions too. So they'll also be used for public and school education. It'll showcase the beauty of native plants. We can also use it for cultivating rare and threatened species for conservation, and act as a living genetics and seed bank for native plant species that we can use in future projects. It will consist of several garden circle areas of native plants. We'll also have a kind of a shallow pond area that will showcase riparian and emergent plants. And we do want to install a trail for public use, as well as an information kiosk and education signage all throughout the garden area. Currently, WAMSCO has about $13,000 in grant funding and commitment to donated labor. We had collected some donated seeds and have secured agreements to donate some plants as well through partnership. and support from other stakeholders and individuals. So this will be a very large project, but it will provide many benefits for many years.
For 2026 aquatic invasive species work and education, we're going to continue to do our annual monitoring on white clay and our boat launch monitoring that we do. We'll do our usual events at Brunch on the Farm, Youth and Lady Day, and Youth Conservation Days. We are looking to update and expand our Where's WAMSCO scavenger hunt. So we will be getting new boxes for our treasure boxes, new materials and handouts that we can put in there, and hopefully get more people involved. We had about 100 people involved this year, so we're hoping to get even more for next year. Again, we will be presenting at the Wisconsin Lakes and Rivers Convention next year, so please register for that and sign up for our Wednesday morning workshop. And then some updates on some education funding that we got. We got our Packer grant from the Green Bay Packer Foundation for about $3,000 to help with our education. And then we also got the SAC Developmental Disabilities Grant, which will help fund some educational programming for some organizations in Shawano that for people who have developmental disabilities.
Capacity building and outreach for next year. We're hoping to get our third member into a full-time position, myself, and potentially getting on a fourth staff member part-time, depending on how some of our grant work goes. We're hoping to get our newsletter up into a monthly release to help keep people informed about different projects that we're doing, upcoming volunteer events, and different updates like that, and helping to promote our membership funding. Hopefully we can expand on that in the coming year. We want to continue our public engagement events, so getting involved in the public more, getting our name out there, getting more education out there. And like we talked about in the beginning, our next annual meeting is going to be on June 6th of next year. We're moving that up and hoping to expand it a bit to be more of a fun community event where we can get our membership and volunteers involved. So that is our plans.
And thank you, everybody, for attending the annual meeting. I'd like to thank our staff. We really do have a rock star staff right now, and we really hope to expand that by one more staff member who has been volunteering with us and tried, true, and proven, and worked with Tip as well. So fingers crossed that that will happen. Again, anybody for support, our unrestricted funding is always in need of support, and your volunteer time as well. Please reach out to us with anything that you would want to help out with, as well as if you have any ideas for any projects that you feel are within our scope and that you think would be worthwhile cause for WAMSCO to assist with. You can find us on our website at wamsco.org. And all our contact information is there. Please see us at all of our events, watch our website, watch the media, and come have some fun with us. So thank you. I will ask for a motion to adjourn the annual membership meeting at 11:03 a.m. Do I have a motion? Jessica makes a motion.
Second.
Gary seconds. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. We will adjourn our membership meeting at 11:03. Anybody that happens to be online for the membership meeting, our board of directors meetings are always public. You're welcome to stay on. However, this is the end of that, and a lot of this will be repeat with a little bit more discussion for our board of directors meeting. So with that being said, I will open our board of directors meeting at